Same people that had just killed a number of those inside, had wounded a number of those inside, had terrorized everyone inside, and had now had the place surrounded, and these little children were forced to leave their home and go into the hands of those people. I don't know if I would allow my child to do that.
On day 3 of the siege, Tuesday, March the 2nd, David Koresh sent a tape out with Catherine Madison. The agreement was they would all come out if the tape, a 58-minute sermon, was broadcast on radio stations during prime time.
They were supposed to play the tape at prime time. Now that could have meant two different things. Prime time or drive time on radio would be like from 4 to 6 in the evening. Prime time on television would be like from 7 o'clock till 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock till 11 o'clock. And that's when they wanted the tape played. The tape was actually played at 1:30 in the afternoon, and there's every possibility in the world that they were not listening to the tape or listening to the radio when the tape was played, and therefore never knew that the tape was played. That may be one of the reasons they didn't come out.
The Branch Davidians did not leave Mount Carmel following the broadcast of David Koresh's sermon. The FBI said that David had lied to them. But later, Sheila Martin told us the actual reason for not coming out.
That's one of the reasons David stayed in. He knew that the land would become ours, free and clear, my understanding is.
On or about March the 22nd, 1988, a Waco judge issued a verbal order that the Branch Davidians must occupy the 77-acre plot of land continuously for a period of 5 years. Then it would become legally theirs. The 5-year period would not expire for another 20 days. Inside Mount Carmel were about 100 people. They represented a diverse racial and cultural mix of nationalities, but were all there for one purpose only, to study the Bible.
We were trying to live in the community like the early apostles did. You know, sharing all things, having things in common. That's why we live together as a family, you know. Like Christ said to the people of his day, who are my brothers and my sisters and my mother? These that are with me, that follow me and do what I say.
Their leader, of course, was David Koresh. Contrary to what the FBI told us, David never claimed to be Jesus Christ. The people inside Mount Carmel followed him because they believed he was a prophet and had great skill in teaching the Bible.
We liked being there. When we had the long studies, it was because we were just having fun. And long studies were just something that was a combination of a lot of things. It wasn't that we sat there all the time. We would have breaks. We'd go off and check on the children and see what things we were going to fix for breakfast. And then we'd come back and, you know, just normal things. It just appeared to people. But when you like something, you're going to sit there and you don't mind. And many a time it would be 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. He'd say, you know, it's getting late. And we'd say, no, that's all right.
And he would take us on such a high level that I couldn't follow him.
I like the scientific, you know, anything scientific. He went into things about space, things about just anything. He had every subject there was. And I mean, he could give you knowledge about it like you would never learn anywhere else.
Vernon Howell thinks he's the Lamb of God, when all he is a cheap thug who interprets the Bible through
Whatever you may think of David Koresh, just remember that your opinion was established by the FBI, which had a tremendous stake in villainizing him.
The persons who follow true religion follow a message, a ministry. Persons who follow a cultic leader follow a man, a messenger, a person. And it's
mainstream religious leaders such as Dr. Jerry Falwell joined the government's critical view of David Koresh.
My main object was following truth. It was not following a person.
Their religious beliefs, that's their belief. I mean, each person's religion is his own business. I mean, just like each person's politics is. I mean,
those who lived near Mount Carmel, such as Walter Dulock, proprietor of a grocery store in Elk, knew the Branch Davidians and had no problem with them.
Yeah, there's one guy, this fellow Woodrow Kendrick, that they got charged with murder. Well, he was not a store like that. He didn't run a charge account with. There wasn't nothing wrong with that guy. I mean, you know, I don't know about his personal life, but I mean, to me, he was just an average guy that walks in the store.
It is true that David Koresh had children by some of the other women at Mount Carmel, but our investigation finds the charges of child abuse were false. There were several previous state investigations which also failed to produce any evidence of abuse, and the case was officially closed on April the 30th, 1992.
We had no evidence, so it was a very frustrating time for us.
Talk about this sex business there, I mean, with the underage girls. I don't know whether that's true or fact, or whether that's just, I mean, you know, all I know is what I read in the paper and see on TV. And the Child Protective Agency was out there several times, and they couldn't find nothing wrong. So, I mean, you know, I don't know what the, you know, where all this stuff comes from.
The siege wore on, and all communication with the outside world was cut off. A caller to Ron Engelman's talk show suggested the Branch Davidians move their satellite dish as an indication they were listening.
If they're listening, move the satellite dish. He said, I think it's on Galaxy 6. He said, ask them if they're listening to move the satellite dish to Galaxy 1.
The compound's phone lines have been diverted for a week, keeping David Koresh from the attention he apparently craves. But an FBI ban on contact with the media isn't keeping talk show host Ron Engelman from trying to reach the cult leader. Tuesday morning, he asked compound members over the air to move their satellite dish if they were listening to him.
And about 2 minutes later, Ken comes back on the phone and says, the dish moved. They're listening to you.
Then a caller to Engelman's show suggested a more visible sign.
If they put a weird flag out that second-story window or something, it's going to get somebody's attention.
Shortly after noon, a white flag appeared at the second-floor window and stayed there for half an hour.
The Branch Davidians and David Koresh do want communications with us. They want me in there. They want the surgeon.
In a later phone call, Branch Davidian member David Thibodeau told how it felt to realize that someone was trying to contact them.
Running up and down the halls going, they're listening, move the satellite dish. You know? it was a very high moment. It was very exciting. I just remember everybody just being so overwhelmed with joy that someone was listening, you know, that we could communicate somehow to people, because they'd cut us off.
The longer they negotiate, the more the people can come out. Koresh, I don't know. He is strongly delusionary, very paranoid, probably sociopathic. He's locked in. I don't know if they'll get him out or not.
Okay, Koresh.
From the very first day, the news media deliberately sought out only those persons with ill feelings towards the Branch Davidians, and David Koresh in particular. All that time, living right here in Waco was a gentleman who was not prejudiced and knew them well.
I am Dewey Millay. I am a naturopathic doctor. I have lived in Waco about 6.5 years. About 5 years ago, I had some Branch Davidians come to me for nutritional health, and they became my patients, as it were. And of course, when the event happened, I said, my goodness,